All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into something that sounds, well, pretty audacious. A detailed blueprint for building a green energy company from the ground up in Ukraine and doing it all in just 90 days. So, how on earth do you pull something like that off? Let's break it down. Yeah, that's a huge question, right? And, the plan we're about to walk through offers a really fascinating answer. It's a strategy that's all about turning what looks like a monumental challenge into a very real and very strategic opportunity. Okay, so here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at the big picture opportunity. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the 90-day blueprint. After that, we'll check out the actual execution checklist, and finally, we'll see what the payoff is for all that work. All right, first up, a unique energy opportunity. Before we can even get into the how, we've got to understand the why. So why this project and why Ukraine right at this moment? The strategy here is it's really smart. It's basically capitalizing on a perfect storm. You've got this rising demand for clean energy. The government is actually stepping in with support programs, and there's preferential lending available. It's the convergence of all these things that makes this joint venture possible. Now, this is what I find really interesting. Look at how they frame the impact. This isn't just about building a company to make a profit. No, it's positioned as a fundamental piece of the country's recovery. We're talking about stimulating the economy, developing new tech, and maybe most importantly, strengthening Ukraine's energy and economic independence. That's a huge deal. Okay, so we've got the why. Now let's get into the how. This next section lays out the 90-day blueprint, how you turn that big vision into a concrete day-by-day action plan. This timeline really shows you the sheer velocity of this thing. I mean, it is an all-out sprint. You're going from the absolute basics, like company registration in month 1, all the way to a full-blown marketing launch and building out a sales network by the end of month 3. There is zero time wasted here. So, month 1, this is all about laying the groundwork, right? Getting that solid foundation in place. You're preparing and submitting all the registration docs, securing the permits you need to even operate in this space, opening bank accounts, and all the while doing a deep dive on the market. It's the essential gotta do it right stuff. Then, in month 2, things really start to shift. You move from paperwork to people and partnerships. This is where the financial engine gets built. You're negotiating with major banks, setting up credit lines for your future customers, which is key, and at the same time, you're building your team. You're hiring the sales managers, the technical experts, the people who are actually going to make this happen. And then you train them up. And then we hit month 3. This is launch time. It's all about activation. The website goes live, the digital marketing strategy kicks into gear, you're signing contracts with regional distributors to get your reach, and bam, the first ad campaigns are out there pulling in those first customers. It's go time. Okay, so that's the timeline. But here's the really crucial part to understand. This isn't just a simple step-by-step list. To pull this off in 90 days, you've got multiple, detailed work streams all running at the same time, in parallel. And this table just lays it all out perfectly. It shows you how much is happening simultaneously. So while the legal team is over here getting documents notarized, the operations team is already leasing office space and a warehouse. And at the same time, the marketing team is already designing brochures and price lists. It's just a masterclass in parallel execution. Everything has to move together. And the plan gets super specific, especially when it comes to the financial side of things. A key piece of the puzzle is targeting partnerships with some of Ukraine's biggest banks. And this is so important, not just for the company's own finances, but because it allows them to offer financing to their customers. That makes the whole thing much more accessible. There's a quote from the source material that just perfectly captures the whole vibe of this project. It says, "Green energy is not only the future, but also the present. We invite you to start working today and together move towards success." That urgency, that call to action, that's what's driving this whole intense 90-day sprint. Okay, so you've gone through 90 days of this intense parallel work. What do you actually have to show for it? What does the payoff look like? Well, when you boil it all down, the main goal, the primary deliverable, is one single powerful outcome: a fully structured and legally compliant joint venture ready for business. And if you break that down even further, you can see the 90-day plan doesn't just deliver a company on paper, it delivers a complete, functioning business ecosystem. You've got the legal entity all set up, a core team of specialists hired and trained, key partnerships with banks and distributors locked in, and a go-to-market strategy that's ready to roll. It's the whole package.
So that really brings us to the final big picture takeaway here. When you look at a blueprint like this incredibly structured, rapid deployment model, you have to wonder, right? Is this just a strategy for one company and one country? Or could this be a template, a model for how we approach major infrastructure projects and reconstruction efforts all over the world? It really makes you think.